life of a hunter. It's not about an end result, it's about an expedition. A journey that leads us into wild places, both near and far. In a time where some believe hunting is not relevant to modern society, we carry the torch and stand on the foundations of those that have come before us. We continue to invest into the ecosystems of which we must sustain. It's an effort to conserve, to provide, and celebrate God's renewable resources.
Hey, 380 plus.
It is our life. It is our passion, and we make no apologies for our God-given right to hunt. Iowa, a place many would consider one of the best states you could possibly hunt white-tailed deer. For Mark Heck, it's a state he chooses to live, and there's no doubt part of that choice is based on being in proximity of mature, legendary whitetails. The management process on Mark's farms begins early each and every year. Mark's close friends, Dan Luzum and Chris Van Gerpen, help manage Mark's farms year-round. It's a process that literally runs 365 days a year.
Well, we're here in Iowa. We're doing some timber management work here. It's 0 today. It's absolutely just horrendously cold. And we drive down the road as we're going, and we see a deer standing here eating, which isn't unusual. But then we see a bunch of blood, and actually see some blood hanging along here, and we're like talking out, must be a buck shedding its horn and rubbing against it. But then we turn around, and right up there is the deer. It's basically standing dead. I think it's got blood running from its mouth, so we're gonna go up and check it out. But Mother Nature's brutal this time of the year. That's why we do all this kind of work for the deer. So let's go up here and take a look. Got wind chills of at least minus 15 here in Iowa today. And this is what I talk about Mother Nature and how brutal she can be to the animals out here in this weather. We have this young doe here basically dying in front of us. I don't know what from, whether she was hit with a car, whether it's just Mother Nature doing its work. But it's kind of why we come out here. It's why we do the management program, leave corn for the deer, put feeders up this time of year. It's exactly for this kind of thing, keep a healthy herd. Sad to see, actually. It's basically dead.
So, yeah.
That's one of the saddest things. I've seen deer, actually, I think it was a 6 deer at one point, bedded down, dying of starvation at one point in time, a few years back. This is probably the saddest thing I've ever seen. That little thing's basically dead on its feet. Mother Nature can be just cruel.
When it comes to Mother Nature, there are some things we just can't control. But for what we can control, we have a role to play.
It's a multi-stage. When I say multi-year, it's more than a multi-year process. It's actually ongoing constantly. We're always, every 2 to 3 years, picking a section of the farms, different farms, and all of our farms, and taking a 10, 15, 20, 30 acre parcel, and then just spraying, hinge cutting, and cutting out the invasive species, this hard this stuff here, and getting rid of it. And what the whole goal is to get more browse so the sun actually reaches the forest floor. And it's, unfortunately, we pick the dates that we're going to work. Mother Nature tells us it's cold, it's deep snow, but those are the days we got to do it. So onward we go, guys.
On Mark's farms, the work never ends. And when it comes to hunting specific deer on his property, the advanced targeting starts years in advance. In 2017, a deer began to show up on Mark's farm that he began to take notice of. In 2018, the same deer began to make improvements, and by 2019, he leaped to the top of the hit list with nearly 40 inches of growth in 1 year. Needless to say, Mark's entire Iowa season would now be dedicated to this one deer, a deer that would become known as DT for Droptine. The Given Right is being brought to you by Expedition Archery, Element Outdoors, Real Tree, CVA, Hornady, and Weather Guard. Mark is no stranger to chasing large mature whitetails. He knows the end game generally takes everything working to perfection to consistently harvest world-class animals in a free-range environment. It no doubt takes a lot of patience. Having the ability to tolerate delay is a priority that is a must, even when it means passing on deer most people would dream of being in range of.
We just had a flurry of activity. We had a nice heavy 9-point. I don't know, it looked like a 6-point walk right by us right here. There's another smaller buck. That big, heavy 9-point is really cool to hear. He snort wheezed 3 times, ears back. He was ready to go. He was dogging that doe pretty good. They all worked their way up the hollow here. We're going to rattle again here shortly because they're still on their feet. Well, it's just a gorgeous morning to be out here in the woods. I just need one of those big boys to come our way this morning. There's only one word for this morning. It's called perfection. This is what we wait for all year long. Late October, October 26th, is 28 degrees here in Iowa. Every one of my senses is on the highest alert. I mean, for the time we got the tree stand, we heard the coyotes and as the sun come up, the crows started calling. We had a couple deer walk by us in the dark. We couldn't tell what they were. One was a buck up on top of the hill here. So, just perfect morning to be out here. This is what we wait for all year. We just got done with our morning sit. We had quite a bit of activity in here this morning. Well, that's our target buck. That's a Droptine. Actually, what we called him was a short brow 11, and he just grew points everywhere this year. He was here at 5:15 last night on the 25th. So we came here to hunt him in the morning, and he must be bedding on this hillside over here, and he came down through here last night. So invaluable information, putting these muck scrapes up with a camera over top of them. Incredible. Look. God, is he a toad? My goodness gracious. If Norman Rockwell could make a painting for the best or the most beautiful day to hunt whitetails, it would be the backdrop right here. It's a balmy 23 degrees here. It's our 4th day of Tyler and I on our quest to catch up with the big Droptine buck here in Iowa. He's here. Last night we had a picture of him about 10 o'clock, less than 800 yards from his tree stand. But he's just making it very difficult on us. We're on one side of the farm, he ends up on the other. It's back and forth. But we're going to put our time in here for the next 4 or 5 days till we head to Kansas. We're just going to be relentless. We're trying to stay on the outside of the farm, not go in the middle, but the next day or two we're going to get aggressive. And we got to bump into him. He's here. Just time and patience is what it takes. And a lucky 30-second period that he walks by.
For the next several days, Mark would have encounter after encounter with a variety of Iowa whitetails. And needless to say, it was never the specific deer he was after. Mark spends the middle part of his days often relocating, checking cameras, and putting forth his best effort to figure out where the Droptine buck is spending his time. After countless encounters, and hours in the tree began to multiply. It could become easy for one to get discouraged. However, Mark knows through past experience that patience has a way of often leading to success. Every encounter for Mark is never considered wasted time, but rather an opportunity to learn something new about his farm, as well as up-and-comers on his property.
Our big Droptine buck showed back up after 3 days he was missing, maybe almost closer to 4. So I don't know if he hooked up with one or maybe two different does, but we do know right now that they are all scrambling to look for the last couple of does. So I'm really excited about that.
Mark would spend over 40 combined hunts prior to November 21st. And finally, there was a glimmer of hope.
Kidding me? He's going to go up the road, isn't he? Come on down this way, boy. I'm gonna have to shoot through there. If he makes it all the way here. Yep, I knew it. He's on the run. He's looking for does. Right place, right time. Just didn't get close enough.
The Given Right is being brought to you by Scrape Fix, Dead Ringer, Cupped Waterfowl, PFC Outdoors, Victory Archery, and Burris.
Well, back in Iowa, just a short 2 weeks ago, we were bow hunting here. We spent, I can't tell you exactly how many days, we're at least in the high 30, 38, 39 days after one deer called DT, Droptine. He's a monster, he's a toad. He's one of our special Iowa deer we've been looking for, but he is so smart, he never comes out in the same spot every time. So we're gonna try to even the odds a little bit. Got our CVA with us today. We actually missed the first day I was traveling, so we're down 1 day on him. We only got 6 days of hunting, but we're gonna take the John Deere out, and that's how we're gonna get in and out of the blind every day. We're only gonna hunt for this deer. That's our goal. And so we'll be taking the tractor in and out every day. Hopefully we can fool him. So far, he's eating my lunch. After a nice long drive in the tractor, we're here again. I don't know how many days it's been. 30, 40. I know I spent 14 days basically in a row before I drove myself insane chasing this deer. And we were so close so many times. 80 yards, 90 yards actually one time for 4 minutes, and he just didn't come down to us. And he's still hopscotching all over the place. I mean, there's no one place. We did a little diary of him just the other day. And in a 5-day period, we saw him on camera 7 different times in 7 different places. So he's not gonna be an easy deer to get to. We're just gonna take our time, make sure we try not to make any major mistakes. That's how we're gonna kill this deer. No major mistakes, and all he needs to do is make one.
The pursuit of this specific deer would literally become more of a challenge than anyone could have ever imagined. Mark has always had significant success on his Iowa farm harvesting mature whitetails. The 2018 shotgun season proved a glimpse of that success with a deer named John.
He's following those does right now. Come to why me, why now? Yes! Our fourth night here in Iowa, baby. And that's our target deer. He's a big old, at least 5.5 for sure. He might even be 6.5-year-old, 8-point mainframe. He had split G2s last year. We have both of his sheds, and he was 158 inches last year. He is a toad. Oh my goodness. Look at him. Oh, look at the head on this thing. He's huge. Look at the forehead. Incredible. Oh my goodness. Look at those brows. I don't know. Big 8s, they just do something for me. You get them up that 155, 160 inch range, they just are amazing animals. This deer is a minimum, I'd say 5.5. We might even be a 6.5-year-old. And last year he had splits on both sides here. And he has a little one here, but they were bigger splits. And we didn't think he gained that much. Then we lost him for at least a month. We're like, maybe something happened to him and removed. And then just recently, we found out that he's been staging up in the woods back there. He's not really been down here in the field that much with the cameras and stuff. So we just thought he left the farm, or he might have been shot by somebody else. But he's lived here forever, so it's kind of a surprise if he did. But look at this toad. Look at him. The head on this thing. What a beautiful deer. What a beautiful deer. This is sweet. Gotta love Iowa hunting, huh? Yes.
The Given Right is being brought to you by Big and J, Reveal, Grizzly, Tacticam, Swagger, and The Grind.
We are in the same food plot that we were in last night, with the total opposite wind. And the way we get away with that is we put our trailers on wheels, our blinds on wheels. This brand new Grizzly setup, which is just awesome. These windows are the best in the industry. And we put these on wheels, and we can just take an ATV or pickup truck and move them. We moved this one from the pasture blind, which we'll be hunting tomorrow night because we're gonna have a south wind tomorrow night. We're gonna get on this deer eventually. We're right around him. He was in the food plot last night, 7 o'clock. We left here at 5:30, 5:15. He's gonna make a mistake. It has to happen. It has to happen for my sanity. Just put his head up. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, it would be like that. Okay, get ready. Oh,
Realizing the Droptine buck had finally showed himself, Mark and Tyler positioned themselves for what could be the opportunity at a shot of a lifetime.
He's facing what right now?
Yeah. Now he's walking all right?
Yep.
Walking towards us a little.
Yep. Tell me when you're ready. He's facing away right now.
Now he's turning.
Yep. Tell me when you're ready.
You're good to go whenever.
Is he hit? Is he hit?
You're acting a little funny.
Oh, go down, go down. Come on. Come on, go down.
That is a giant.
Tyler. Hold still, buddy. Come on, go down. Yeah, there he goes. We have deer that we chase, and we know them. We chase them for a couple of years, so on and so forth. We have been after this deer since the very first time we saw him in the summer in velvet. He had a Droptine. We said, that's our buck. We had over 70 sits. When I say sits, whether it be a morning or evening sit, we had over 70 after this deer. I know some people say that it's kind of like crazy when you pass up 160, 165-inch deer. But when you shoot a deer like this and you have this feeling, what's running through my veins right now, if you could bottle it, you'd be a millionaire. Yes! Whoa! We just smoked ourselves another 200-inch deer. Yes! Yes! Tyler. And we finally get to touch him. Look at this thing. Whoa! Toad, the mass. He's got everything. Lots of points, Droptine. And we had to hunt him. Never apologize for your God-given right to hunt. And this is why. Look at this thing. Woo!
Persistence has a way of teaching us many lessons. Patience has a way of often leading to reward. And although hunting doesn't always end in success, when it does, it is always a moment to be remembered. For Mark and the deer they named DT, it's a legendary moment, and a moment to be grateful for the God-given right to hunt.